Welcome back to the Leeds Rhinos podcast. This is episode 30. It's a Thursday, so it's our Q&A edition. Don't forget to send us in your questions. We want your questions. Send them into info@therhinos.co.uk or comment wherever you see this with your questions, and we will put the questions to the people who matter here at the Rhinos. We want to answer your questions. If you've got any queries, any burning desires to know information, or just go, why does that happen? We can get that answer for you. So make sure you send your questions. We can't answer them if you don't send them in, and we're running a bit short on them now. So make sure you do send them in, and we will have a look at them. My name's Phil Daly. I'm the head of media PR. I'm delighted to be joined today by our head groundsman, Ryan Golden, we're going to have a quick chat about what's happening at the stadium. But of course, remembering as well that on Saturday it's our MND Awareness Game when the Rhinos take on Wakefield Trinity. And the man uppermost in all our thoughts will be the late, great Rob Burrow as we head towards the first anniversary of Rob's passing. Rob was a great mate of Ryan's. They had plenty of laughs down the years, so we'll reflect on that and tell the stories that we can tell on a podcast later on. But Ryan, just looking first of all, I think we've all seen it in our gardens. The sun is shining. Now we're getting some rain as well, so everything's going boom in the garden. Presuming that makes some busy time for you and the lads.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we're at a point now where we really, really needed it. So the naked rain dancing's coming handy now, isn't it? We're really, really pleased it's come because it's affected everything, and we've certainly noticed over the last sort of 3 to 4 days. It's not just the colour of ryegrass that responds to it as well. Everywhere's greened up, but it's the density of the leaf and things like that. So, and it saves us watering as well. So that's a huge thing because that could be a really, really time consuming task when you're in the middle of a drought period.
It's a busy time on site. It's getting into that really busy period of the year. Obviously, the cricket season they're now underway, and those guys there, and you guys with the amount of games that are on there because we're now having academy games, reserve games, the women's games are here as well as the first team training and playing here. It's a busy old time.
Yeah, certainly. It's challenging. It's certainly challenging, and it's something that myself and the lads we've had to adapt our working around and of how we maintain the surface with all that going on. And as we're talking, obviously we've got a game tonight, the academy, and then we've got obviously 2 games on Saturday. So and with everything that's going on with the MND game, so we have to take little things into account. So, for example, we could really do with within our program of spraying a liquid fertilizer with some iron and seaweed, but with the way the weather is today, it'd have been perfect to spray because we've no use, but we can't because of the wind. So that puts us back again. But at some point we need to do that. So we're just having to be really clever with how we do things and work around things. And all credit to Leon and Dan and Kieran. They've been great, and that includes being really flexible with times as well. And just on the spraying thing, generally we do it very early because the wind is lightest first thing in the morning. So to come in at them times and then to go all the way through the day and generally then be putting water on at Kirksall and stuff like that, it's been a challenging and time consuming period. And McDonald's and KFC, there is other providers out there have had a lot of money out of us.
Very good, very good. In terms of the use of the pitch, obviously we spoke earlier on our other podcast, Roots the Rhinos, about the new pitch that you installed at the back end of last year, the new hybrid pitch.
Sure.
Are you really seeing that come to life now as the grassroots bed into that new system?
Oh, 100%, yeah. Absolutely. We would have seen a far more greater load of damage if we hadn't have had the reinforcement from the fibres, from the stitching. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. It's managing to hold the profile together. Now the ryegrass roots are starting to bound around it, and we've worked really hard with aeration and certain products to force the roots down and to bind around these fibres. And as a byproduct of that as well, we've got to be a bit careful with the firmness of it. So we're constantly testing for firmness because we don't want it to turn into concrete as well, which it can really easily do with a hybrid pitch. So to alleviate that, we've had to incorporate quite a decent bit of aeration with the Procore and with the Vertidrain to sort of combat against that. So it's the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. in our job. So it's like for one action, there's a reaction. So we have to be quite careful of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and staying on top of that and making sure you're ready to that. I mean, you talk about the potential for damage and how this pitch allows us to do more things.
Mm.
I think fans who come on Saturday for the double header game will find it remarkable how much the pitch has recovered from the marathon.
Hmm.
There was a slight amount of damage there for our last home game against Hull FC, where you could just see where the mat was for the finish line and people going around the pitch. But like you look out there now, and it's virtually disappeared.
Yeah, sure. That's a mixture of things. We've got the experience of having it. This that third year, wasn't it? Third year now. We have the previous experience of the past couple of years, and that's a mixture of gaining that experience, and also as well working with the marathon guys like Tristan and Shiv and Liz and all them guys. They're great. So we can narrow off the setup time, the rigging time of when we put the mats down, when they need to go down, when the arch goes up, and things like that to narrow off that window to lower the chance of any sort of damage. And the one thing we did find from the marathon was because the red mat or orange, I'm convinced it's red, that went from the corner up to the tunnel. That was rubber backed because it needs to be quite thick and hold strong for obviously the runners and things when they're finishing. But because it was rubber backed because of the heat we had, we got up to 26 degrees within the stadium bowl that day at some points looking at the thermometers. So it basically soaked up the sun and we think it scorched the grass rather than suffocated or anything like that. So that's something that we're aware of and something that we dealt with.
Yeah. And that level of planning and understanding, and importantly, when you've got major events like that, learning from that so that next year you can be even better. If I think where you were for year one 3 years ago to where we are now with the marathon, it just leaps and strides, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think the event itself is absolutely great. I think it's great for the city. It's great for the awareness of obviously MND, and it's absolutely brilliant for us as a club to have. We work in great partnership with the marathon themselves, with all Run for All staff, and it's events like that that are a real joy to have, and it's what we're proud to have. And you don't mind doing very long days for things like that and seeing the joy that people. It sounds really cheesy, doesn't it? But the joy people coming on and finishing at the stadium. There's a lot of emotion and things like that. So I think it's a great day, and it's yet another challenge, but it's one that we don't shirk from.
Yeah, and you mentioned partnerships there and citywide, and I know that you spend a lot of time talking to the other professional sports around the city as well. You like go and watch the ice hockey. There's not an awful lot of grass growing
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
I think the guys at Leeds United and obviously Yorkshire County Cricket Club and they're in a good position at the moment. But it's great for the city, isn't it? That everyone's on the up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I speak quite often to Kyle at Leeds United. We were both apprentices here. Obviously, he went down to Leeds United. I can't remember now. It might have been 11, 12 years ago. So we've grown up together. So we're constantly talking rubbish a lot of the time. And I get on really well with Robbo on the other side as well at Yorkshire, and Andy before him. And we're throwing ideas and products and have you tried this, and constantly sending videos and things like that to each other. So that having that network, especially in Leeds, is great, and that's part of a whole wider network of groundsmen and things like that within the UK. And it's really weird because there's only like groundsmen who understand other groundsmen, if that makes sense. It's like can't go.
You're a unique breed.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really positive way of putting it. Yeah, you can't go home and moan to your missus about I don't know, drought tolerance of a ryegrass plant, can you?
No, well, you won't get very far if you do.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. So, but yeah, it's a really good network to have, and it's great that obviously Leeds have gone up and things like that, and Yorkshire obviously as well are doing okay. So yeah,
very good. And in terms of your team, obviously fans will see the guys out on the pitch. Just talk us through your team and what their responsibilities are, because you've got a real good structure there. That lads, you mentioned they're the long hours and that, but they're really committed to it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's certainly a profession that requires a high amount of sacrifice and a lot of strings to your bow. I remember somebody said something to me a few years ago, and it was something like it's a profession that takes the majority of subjects that you take at school, which really hits home. It includes maths, English, science. It's absolutely everything, when a lot of other professions only take a few. So I've got Leon and Dan, who are the assistant heads. They've been here over a decade, each of them now. Leon went for a short stint at Bradford and then came back when I took over. And we have Kieran, the apprentice, who's going into his, I want to say, his third year now. So he's picking up the ropes and the jobs and the feeling and the sounds and stuff that he should be listening for with machinery and stuff like that. And we've got Andrew as well, who Andrew does 2 days a week. So he was down at the crypt. He went through a program down there, and it's something that Sue Ward, the operations director, got us interested in, and she worked down there for a bit. And once we got talking to him, we realised that we probably could have an opportunity for one of them guys down here, and he's just been brilliant. It's one of the most fulfilling things that I think I've done personally and professionally as well, is really helping Andrew, and he just grasps. He's a really, really good guy, and the same as Dan and Leon. Dan and Leon will quite easily make head groundsmen, whether that's here or somewhere else. Is up to them and circumstance, but they're really, really talented groundsmen.
You mentioned Kieran there and the apprenticeship, and that was a similar route that you came through. It's that time of year where kids are getting ready for the GCSE exams and starting getting the old revision timetable out and all that stuff, and thinking about what's next. I mean, apprenticeships, particularly within groundskeeping, are a great way for people to get into that industry, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a massive advocate for them. I think I was never the best academically at school and attention-wise and things like that. So for me to go down that route was perfect. I could have an income as well as gaining an insight into a profession, and it was a profession that I was fortunate that I knew I needed to do, and the same with I wanted to do, should I say, and the same with Kieran and Dan and Leon. And it I always try and help if there's ever anybody who wants to do work experience and gain an insight into it, just like I did, because I think it's really, really rewarding. Obviously, it's a bit different now because they leave school a bit later on, don't they, and stuff, which is probably a bit better with trying to work out what sort of choices you want to make and stuff like that. Because saying to a 15-year-old kid, what do you want to do for your rest of your life is pretty difficult, isn't it? But
getting an answer of what they want for tea.
Well, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It makes you think, actually, why we did it all the way back then. But they, yes, certainly, and in conjunction with the GMA and who work really hard at apprenticeships as well, Jason Booth and Jeff Webb and them guys there, that it's it's a really good thing.
Brilliant stuff. We mentioned earlier on, this Saturday is the MND Awareness Game. We've got a double header of action. The Leeds Rhinos women are taking on Wigan Warriors, a repeat of the Betfred Women's Challenge Cup semi-final from the other week, and it'll be a big test for Lois Rossell's team against a strong Wigan team this year. They really strengthened this year, and I think we'll probably go into the final next week at Wembley as favourites to end Saints' run of success down at Wembley. But then it's the men take on Wakefield Trinity. It's our MND Awareness Game, and there's so much going on around the game to keep banging the drum for the MND community, but of course to remember Rob ahead of his first anniversary on Monday. Rob was a great pal of yours. He used to love winding you up and having a joke at your expense. You can't believe it got a year since he passed.
No, it's unbelievable, really. And I think I think it's worth telling the story, actually, about you. So we were renovating the pitch when that sad news had come through, and I remember you walking across the pitch and stuff like that as the tractors were working and the contractors were going, and I'm really stressed at this point, and you've rang me, missed your call, and you've come over, and I could see you wasn't right, and you'd obviously explained what had happened and stuff, and it took 10-15 seconds for it to sink in with me. But then you had to go about and move a load of stuff, and then you decided upon like we're going to do everything down by the statue, and all the fans can pay the respects down there and stuff. But I think we had a laugh about this, actually. In true Rob fashion, we put all the spoil off the pitch in front of the statue, haven't we? In front of the John Holmes statue. So I was had to go out to the contractors and say, lads, I can't say why, and this isn't going to make sense, but can you please move all this spoil away? And Premier Pictures are absolutely great. They without quibbling or qualming, they were just brilliant. They moved it, and they moved it really respectfully, as well as people have started turning up and stuff. And yeah, I remember, I think you came back out and we had a good laugh about that. He was like, he'd be laughing now. He'd have been laughing at that. It's just, that's what you get, Ryan. So yeah, it's it was a bit of a shock. He just took the mick out of everybody, didn't he?
Yeah.
He just, I've never known a minute go by without him taking the mick out of me, or certainly with my old mentor Jason. He was constantly taking the mick, and I was saying this the other day to somebody, I can't remember who I was saying it to. He's the only player I ever remember within rugby league, certainly, who wore 21mm studs. Like, if you look back at some of his pictures, he could have climbed Everest with some of them boots. Like, the stud length on them were ridiculous. He must have put, do you know what I mean, half a foot onto him.
It all counts.
Well, that's what I mean. That's probably why he wore him, didn't he? It's something that we think about every day, and especially a lot of people, a lot of staff within the club probably do as well. And it's always good to put things in perspective with Lindsay and the kids and stuff like that as well, when you think you're going through a rubbish time in your life. So.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, you say. But I think we've all had moments there. We're thinking he'd be laughing at me here now. I remember poor Barry McDermott when he finished the marathon there the other week, and he came over the line, and he was absolutely shattered. he was a spent man, and I said, "You're right, Baz. You're all right." And he went, "He would be absolutely in hysterics thinking of me doing another marathon for him." I think that's testament to how everyone still remembers Rob. Because it's tragic and it's as sad as it is. When you think of him, it just brings a smile to your face, because that's how he lived his life. He lived his life with a smile on his face right to the very end. And I think it's great that we, as a club, we continue to honour that memory, and I'm really looking forward to Saturday's game. It was a real special. Remember the game last year against Lee? That was a really special occasion, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure. I think there's times and there's games, especially like guys like us. We're over 20 years, aren't we, and stuff. And you have in your mind, you have an event or a specific game or something like that sticks in your memory, and that's certainly one of them. And a lot of credit has to be paid to the club, and especially people like Matt Adams in marketing, and Abby and Rob and them guys who had to do a lot of pulling that together, and who've done a lot of pulling together for this weekend as well. So it's certainly memorable. Yeah.
Absolutely. We can't wait for it. It's going to be a fantastic day. Any insight into what the weather's going to be like for Saturday? I know it's been mixed this week. What can we expect to say?
Warm and dry.
For those who don't know, if anyone's got a barbecue, a wedding, anything planned, they always come to Ryan for a bit of info here at the Rhinos. Ryan, what's the weather going to be like for such and such a date? So over to you, Ian McCaskill. What we're looking at?
It's warm and dry. Yeah, it's warm and dry. Yeah, it's warm and dry for Saturday.
Warm and dry on a Saturday afternoon, early evening. What more could you want? So make sure you come down to AMT Headingley. Tickets still available. Get down. It's going to be a very special night and an afternoon. So make sure you come down there. Go to tickets.therhinos.co.uk to get your ticket, and make sure you come down to cheer our women's and our men's team on. It should be a fantastic afternoon. The men's team will be wearing the special MND shirt for their game. The women's team will be warming up in the MND t-shirt before their match. And that they both have the same design, and it's got the 196 players that Rob played with for club and country, along with the names of Rob's children and Lindsay's name there. So an iconic image of Rob on the front. They're still available. You can get them from the shop, both online and in store when you come to the game on Saturday. And money from those shirts is going towards the MND Association, so we can continue Rob's legacy to beat the drum. Don't forget as well that Kevin Sinfield this week, for you who've missed out on that, has launched his challenge for this year. Coming up in December. There's loads of details about that on the website, so check that out. That's going to be another incredible fundraising occasion from Sir Kev, and we can't wait for that one. Lots going on next week, with it being the Betfred Challenge Cup finals down at Wembley, and the Rhinos men's and women's team not having a game. We won't have a podcast on Monday to review the Wakefield game. We'll leave that to the following Monday, and then we'll build up into the game against Warrington. We don't know whether the Wolves will be Challenge Cup winners by that stage or runners-up. with sore heads, but we'll see how preview that game when we come back a week on Monday. Thanks for joining us. Remember, do send us in your questions. We need your questions, and send them into info@therhinos.co.uk, and we'll get the answers for you. Please give us a review. Give us them 5-star reviews so we can continue to spread the word and climb those charts for podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep in touch with all things Leeds Rhinos from our podcast, and you don't miss out on a single second of the information we've got for you. It's been great to join you. Thanks, Ryan, for your company, and we look forward to seeing you next time when we look back on the game against Wakefield and ahead to the visit of Warrington Wolves to AMT Headingley. Thanks for joining us.